Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. In this session, we will continue to discuss from the 20th verse of the 16th chapter of the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We already have discussed this verse in 2 previous sessions. So this is part 3 of the same verse. The third session will be discussing the remaining portion of the purport because it's a very big purport. Just to refresh your memory, this 20th verse, I'll read the translation once again. I have lost my 3 legs and am now standing on one only. Are you lamenting for my state of existence? Or are you in great anxiety because henceforward the unlawful meat eaters will exploit you? Or are you in a sorry plight because the demigods are now bereft of their share of sacrificial offerings because no sacrifices are being performed at present? Or are you grieving for living beings because of their sufferings due to famine and drought? These are the various questions raised by Dharma in the form of a bull to Mother Earth in the form of a cow. So this is actually describing the symptoms of the Kali Yuga. Of course, the Dharma in the form of a bull, the symbolic representation of Dharma in the form of a bull. And Mother Earth symbolically represented by the cow, form of a cow, shape of a cow. So, Srila Prabhupada describes these things in the purport in a great detail. So, we'll continue where we left off in the previous session. There are gradations of human beings in terms of proportionate faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, bhakti means 100% firm faith in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in real God. That is bhakti. But this faith should not be mistaken to be something like blind faith, what they say, blind faith. Now, what's the difference between real faith and blind faith? What's the difference? Is there a difference? Yes, there is a difference. What's the difference? Now, blind faith is not having the foundation of proper knowledge, proper facts, is not having the foundation of reality. That's called blind faith. Now, real faith is completely based on perfect knowledge, is based on reality, is based on truth and facts. For example, if I have not seen, let us say I have not seen China. I never been to China, I never seen China, the country called China. But then my faith that there is a country called China, people are living there, and it is another country as much as our India, present day India is a country. It's one of the many countries in the world. And they have their own culture, they have their own kind of living conditions, they have their mountains, they have their plains, they have their lands, they have their rivers, they grow some different food items like we grow. So this faith is not blind faith. Why? Because it is based on the solid foundation of knowledge, proper knowledge. From authoritative sources, I have gathered this fact that there is another country called China, even though I have not seen it, I have not actually visited that place. I can visit if I want to, but I don't have to necessarily visit that place in order to actually know for certain and be 100% sure that there is a country called China. You understand? So this understanding and the firm faith is based on solid foundation of perfect knowledge. So I don't have any reason to doubt, though I have not seen the place called China, I have no reason to doubt that there is a place called China which is really existing. Similarly with God, Krishna. Now, a devotee of Krishna knows Krishna actually is the real person, is the Supreme Lord. How does he know? How does he have that faith, even though he may not have seen Krishna in the sense of seeing with these eyes a person that we know in this world? It's not like that. It's not like that. Seeing Krishna is not possible to see with these eyes, because Krishna is not a person who has got a material form. Krishna has no material form. Krishna has only transcendental form, spiritual form. These eyes cannot see spiritual form. Cannot see spiritual form. Therefore, to know about Krishna, we have to hear from the perfect authority, perfect source. And that perfect source are the authentic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The authorized devotees, the acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada. All these are authorized, perfect sources, authorized sources for hearing about Krishna, knowing about Krishna, establishing that firm faith simply by hearing Prabhupada and practicing Krishna consciousness. Of course, the hearing leads to the practice, leads to a certain transformation of heart, which is what establishes that firm faith. So try to understand the difference between Shraddha, which is a Sanskrit word for real faith, and ordinary belief systems. Material world, there is something called I believe so and so is God. Sometimes people say, I believe Durga is God. Somebody else will say, no, I don't believe Durga is God. I believe Ganesha is God. So this belief system is something of a sentiment, something of a feeling within the heart. Is something of a a benefit, a material benefit somebody might have got by believing, by doing something based on a belief. But that is not the proper way of ascertaining the fact, the reality, the truth, simply going by some belief, which is a sentimental belief, or going by a similar sentimental belief that another close friend of yours has, or another family member has, in whom you have got a good amount of faith or trust, whom you trust, who is trustworthy. Okay. But it is not just that. You see, it has to be, real faith has to be ascertained by perfect knowledge from the perfect source, has to be ascertained by a transformation of heart through through the process of bhakti, the process of hearing, chanting, process of following the instructions, to awaken that real knowledge within the heart, which is already there. See, mind you, Krishna is not a new person to any of us, because Krishna is seated in our heart. Yeah? Krishna is directing our intelligence every moment as we use the intelligence. Krishna is our eternal, we are eternally related to Krishna. As spirit soul, we are eternal beings. Krishna as a supreme spirit is eternal Lord, and we have an eternal relationship. So these are all facts, hard facts. These are 100% truth. This is reality. Not because I am just saying it in a very, very forceful way. No, it is actually based on Shastra, authorized Shastra. It is based on the Acharyas. See, Prabhupada traveled all over the world and preached and actually convinced and made people realize through the authentic process of Krishna consciousness. Anybody who practices Krishna consciousness by receiving that knowledge and the proper instructions from the proper source, they can become convinced, they can develop the firm faith, they can awaken their knowledge, their heart can undergo transformation, by which doubts are eradicated permanently. It's not that somebody has got doubt and somehow by some argument or logic or some kind of a feeling their doubts are gone. But again something else happens by which again the doubt comes back. You see? That not that kind of eradication of doubt, some temporary mitigation of the doubt. No. This change of heart by which doubts are eradicated is due to the purification of the heart by the authorized spiritual process. So therefore, when Prabhupada says there are gradations of human beings in terms of proportionate faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what he means is the real faith, the transcendental faith, that's the correct word, the transcendental faith, which has nothing to do with material sentiments, material beliefs, material knowledge, material experience, material relationships, nothing to do with any of those. It is completely different. So, this is explained by Prabhupada here, as first class faithful men are the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas, qualified ones. The second class faith are those qualified Kshatriyas. The third class faith are those who are qualified Vaishyas, and the fourth class faith are the qualified Shudras. So this is the proportionate faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the gradations of human beings in the Varnashrama society. So I'll stop here. We'll continue this in the next section. Next session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. At the end of life, when we have to quit this body, Yamadutas will come and take us to hell if we have been very, very sinful and we are not atoned for these sinful activities. So, chanting Hare Krishna is the best way of atoning for all sinful activities, and of course stopping meat eating, intoxication, gambling and illicit sex. We can be saved from going to hell. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.